When we think about the House landscape for 2014, we look at a couple of things. And the first thing we look at is whether the district is winnable. And then we look at the candidate and whether that candidate can win the district. So just to start off, there is a terrific battle space for us to compete in districts. There are 20 districts that Obama won that are now held by a Republican. And then there are an additional 18 districts that he almost won that we really can compete. You can, there's kind of a DNA of the district that shows that Democrats can win. So we start there. And then you layer in the candidates, and we have recruited some terrific candidates this cycle that can put those particular districts in play. So just a couple of examples to your question about 3 districts. The race in California 21, which is David Valadao is the Republican incumbent. Our candidate is Amanda Renteria, is just a terrific race with a really fantastic candidate that we've recruited that is just has a wonderful story from the district. First in her family to go to college, went to Stanford and then to Harvard Business School, worked on the Hill, was the first Latina chief of staff in the Senate, and now is back in her community to raise her family and represent the constituents that she grew up with. Just a really great background contrasted with a Republican incumbent who has never really had a tough race and is, for a number of reasons, out of touch with that district. So that's a really kind of compelling and interesting race that we can win with a great candidate. Also Colorado 6, which is the incumbent is Mike Kaufman. Our candidate is Andrew Romanoff. Great story. This is your sort of quintessential example of a district where the district changed with redistricting, and the incumbent is now sort of out of touch and out of step with a very moderate district and is having to kind of figure out how to reorient himself and is now admittedly fully out of touch with the new district. And we have this great candidate with tons of support and tons of energy that really reflects the values of that district. So I think that's another good one to watch. New Jersey 3 is an open seat. The Republican incumbent retired, so retirement has been a big narrative of this cycle. And this is an example of one of those seats that Obama won where we have a great candidate, the Republicans have a primary, and the open seat really puts it in play for us. So those are a couple. We have a million great candidates I could talk about, but those are sort of 3 races I probably would put on your radar. This is a great question, and I agree with that 100%. It is very clear from the polling, both national polling and from the polling that we're seeing in our swing districts, that people really want to see the healthcare law fixed and implemented properly. They are not in agreement with the Republican agenda of repeal. They are very aware of the cost of repeal and what repealing this bill would mean. And you've had House Republicans vote, 51 times to repeal this legislation, and that is not where the American people are, even in our swing districts. And so I think you're going to see that play out in a way that is not favorable to the Republicans. But I also think that that's not the defining issue of this election. This election is really going to be about whose side are you on. And are you on the side of the middle class? Are you on the side of really helping people with the challenges that they're facing in their daily lives? And we believe very strongly that the Democrats are the ones who are in touch with people on those issues, and that ultimately, when you have a debate about whose side you're on and the economic issues that are reflective of what people need, that's the Democratic agenda, not the Republican agenda. And I think ACA is a proof point of that. With people, they don't want repeal. They really want what the Democrats want, which is to fix it and implement it properly. And I think you're going to see all of those different issues play out this cycle. Well, as a Kennedy School alum, I am so deeply committed to public service, as we all are when we graduate from here. And I have found, and I've worked in the nonprofit sector, I've been in government, and I have found that politics is the best, most tangible and profound way to have an impact on public service. It really, really matters who's in office and who is making those decisions and who's voting on the issues that affect people's lives. And so I have found personally that being in politics is super rewarding. It really is a way to have a very high impact on a multitude of issues. So I would encourage young people to get involved in politics no matter what. It is a great kind of vehicle and profession for public life. I love the job I have now. I've loved every job. I think, favorite job is always hard to tell, but the job that I have now, where we get to work with members of Congress and recruit candidates who are super committed to public service and super committed to how they can have an impact on the big issues that they care about, it's really rewarding to be able to interact and be around those candidates and those members of Congress and to help them get elected. Is a really kind of powerful and rewarding way to do public service, as we as Kennedy School students always try to do.